So with visualization, you can really simplify those complex structures, and you can represent many data points in a diagram and make them easy to understand for your users. But there's more than this. They are much more intuitive to navigate. So things like, even with a static visualization, things like exploring the diagram are easier to do, and the mapping from the action of searching through the diagram or zooming into a specific part of the diagram is much more natural, because, well, you can literally move closer to the diagram and inspect a certain part. And later on, if you add interactivity, of course, this maps a lot better than with a static visualization or static representation like a textual representation. So to sum it up, it's much more easy to communicate insights to a pretty diverse audience using visualizations. So when should you be using visualization? If it's mostly about connected data. So if the topics that you're discussing is where the connectivity is at its core. So if it's really the patterns that you're interested in or that you need to understand or that your users need to understand, then using visualization is a really good thing. Take, for example, knowledge graphs. So if you want to understand whether there are two entities, whether they are linked, and there's no direct link between those two entities, but there might be multiple indirect relationships in between. So via multiple hops, then with visualization, you can much more easily communicate this fact. Of course, you can still use other visualizations, and you should for other types of data. So you should be using tables or bar charts or lists and all those things that Excel provides in several situations. Of course, for simple or low volume data, but also if the data that you're showing is mostly numerical data, high volume numerical data, or even just single precise values. But even if the answers that you want to convey or want to show to your users are in a way a simple graph structure, like a really trivial or always a really trivial structure like a chain or a star where there's just one element in the center and many items connected to it, it's probably better to use a list, because in a way that's just a disguised list. Use visualization when the complex relationships appear in your data.